I'm Andy Atkins from Arusha UK, and at the end of this turbulent year for the world, for the environment, for the UK, I want to update you on what we've been able to do here with your support. One of the things that most strikes me is how much demand for our services, for our work through our programs has really risen this year. Maybe that's a reflection of the crisis, but we really want to be able to help people engage faithfully, effectively, practically on the environment for creation, for the love of God and for people. And we've seen more and more people wanting to do that through Arusha UK this year. We think there's a huge opportunity actually to have a more vibrant Christian voice, and never has that been more necessary, I think, to defend nature, to stand up for the climate. And Arusha UK is proud to be part of making that happen here in the UK. Let me give a small flavour of some of the things that we have been doing. Let me start with our nature reserves, Foxearth Meadows and Wolf Fields, which many of you will have visited. They're not just great places for nature, and I love visiting them to see the nature there, but they're great for people too. And this year we've been able to provide more than 60 different events for the local community, for churches, for vulnerable people, for youth, for school children on those reserves. So activity on them, the use of them for the local communities grows and grows. But we're also using them as demonstration sites to show what can be achieved to others in their areas. And indeed, that's the approach we're taking throughout our work. As we've tried to facilitate Christians and the churches nationally to do what they can where they are, not just work on our reserves, we're seeing more and more impact. So for example, our Eco Church program now has more than 5,000 registered churches. 2,000 have achieved awards, 500 have achieved a silver award. That's really no mean feat. And we've been delighted this year to be able to appoint 2 new Eco Church staff, an officer for Wales and an officer for Northern England, to really support the acceleration of work in those areas. Then there's our work on land, our Partner in Action program, which includes our own 2 reserves. This brings together now 37 Christian organisations that have land and wish to manage that land for nature and cutting carbon. We've seen 14 new members this year, bringing it to that total. Between us, we have 4,000 acres of land, and the real focus of our joint work is on the Target 25 list, 25 species and habitats that were once common in the UK, but are now increasingly under threat. Things like the bullfinch, the hedgehog, the house martin, native woodlands, wildflower meadows. Across those 37 partners and 4,000 acres, we're working on all of those species and habitats, doing practical conservation work, collecting data, sharing stories of what works so that together we can have more impact. And there are many more partners waiting to join that scheme next year. Then I've been really excited to see the growth of our Wild Christian program. This we launched a few years ago to help individuals and families take action on nature in their own home, in their own street, and to campaign on it as well. We're almost 6,000 in that scheme now, receiving a monthly email, but more than that, joining together to exchange stories, exchange reflections, to also come together in face-to-face events to support each other. We've been able to do 6 online webinars this year on topical subjects such as COP27 and caring for nature and its links with climate change. And we put on several face-to-face campaigning events at our Act for Nature Days on our reserves and with Partners in Action. Lastly, there's our work to support Christian environmental leaders, Christians wanting to take a lead on the environment in whatever walk of life they are, whether it's politics, business, the education system, working in the civil service. We now provide a space for those to come together twice a year to exchange their thoughts, to be prayed for, and to inform each other of what they're doing. And more are wanting to join those prayer forums. We're also producing a new series of briefings to give them credible information to help them know what they can do on different issues, whether it's the links between climate and nature, and a briefing we produced very recently for the COP27 conference, or a forthcoming briefing we're producing for COP15, the UN's International Nature Biodiversity Summit taking place in Canada. We've also got a brand new website, and you'll see much of the information I've been talking about, the programs I've been talking about, very easy to navigate and to participate in. Now, we really couldn't have done all that I've told you about without you, our supporters and participants in our program. Thank you for all you are doing for nature where you are, and for what you're doing via supporting us. And if you're not already one of the participants in our program or a supporter, please go online and sign up for something that's relevant for you, and do consider becoming a regular supporter so we can expand the impact we're having in the UK for nature and for people. Thank you, a very, very big thank you from me on behalf of all of our small team.